What is up, guys? It is AJ, and we are talking about the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Avni Yildirim. Should be an interesting matchup here. Super middleweight championship for the WBC and the WBA titles, both held by Canelo Alvarez. If you look at Avni, recently had a fight against Anthony Dirrell. That was in 2019. Good performance there. Controversial decision loss. It was actually a technical decision. Went to the scorecards after an accidental headbutt, caused a cut on Anthony Dirrell, and then they gave the fight to him. A lot of people disagreed. It was a competitive bout. If you look at Avni's style, very game, comes in, is willing to exchange, closes distance fairly well, rip shots to the body and head, likes to throw wide punches at times, but is hittable. You go back to his fight against Chris Eubank Jr., big uppercut put him down, was knocked out with a hook in that fight. He does have losses on his record, only one by knockout. Granted, he does also have some solid victories, 20 professional wins, and I mean, he's not a bad fighter, rather 21 professional wins with 12 knockouts. Not the biggest puncher, but a decent amount of power. Now for Canelo Alvarez, he's looking excellent as of late. I mean, dominant performance in his last fight against Callum Smith, who I was very hype on, and I think has a very good skill set and also had a huge height and reach advantage on Canelo. Won that fight dominantly over the course of 12 rounds. And then prior to that, he goes up to light heavyweight and he beats Sergey Kovalev in 2019. I really am excited for this matchup, but it's a bit of a mismatch. Avni, I think he's outclassed here. He is coming off a loss, but granted, controversial loss. Canelo takes the bout, and I think it's going to be a fairly entertaining fight while it lasts. I don't think it's going to be as quick as the Chris Eubank Jr. fight with Avni and Chris, because, I mean, that was flash knockout, 3 rounds. I think this fight is going to last a little longer. Avni's definitely improved since that point. I think he will land his shots, but I don't think it's going to be anything that really hurts Canelo. Canelo's going to be too much for him. Avni is the taller man at 5'11 versus 5'8. The reach, though, is identical, both, I believe, 70.5 inches. If I have to tell you a round, I'm thinking we see Canelo Alvarez get the knockout around the 10th, possibly even the 9th. Wouldn't be shocked by a decision either, but I do think Avni is there to be hit. Sometimes his head stays on the center line too long, and I think Canelo could land something big and potentially get a knockout win in this matchup. And what is definitely a showcase fight for Canelo. He plans, I believe, on fighting 4 times this year. That potential Billy Joe Saunders fight looming, potential Triple G rematch some point in this year. So there are a lot of fights coming up for Canelo. This is a huge one. I don't think he loses here. I don't think Avni has a Buster Douglas moment against Canelo Alvarez. And I think Canelo comes in there and looks dominant. And I don't know if he gives up more than 2 rounds in this fight, maybe 3 maximum. And I do think there's a high likelihood that he stops him. Now, let me quickly find the betting odds for you guys. Obviously going to be in the favor of Canelo Alvarez, but how widespread are they? Let's quickly pull them up. If we can find them here. All right. Massive favorite is Canelo in this fight. From what I'm seeing here, Canelo Alvarez sitting at a minus 4,000 favorite. Avni Yildirim is a plus 1,500 underdog. The odds are heavily favored for Canelo Alvarez. I think they're the fair odds. I think they're the correct odds. And I think we're going to see a dominant performance by him. Granted, if Avni were to win, it'd be one of the biggest upsets of all time. Personally, I don't think the likelihood of is any bit high. I don't even think there's much of a likelihood there unless some crazy shot landed and maybe Canelo really didn't take him serious. But you know Canelo takes everyone serious. Canelo Alvarez, stoppage within 10 rounds is my prediction here, and I think the dominant favorite, and I think dominant champion Canelo goes on, probably with the Billy Joe Saunders fight, which I'd be very excited to see, and also potentially the fight against Triple G, a trilogy that I think should happen, and I think I also lean Canelo even in those matchups as well, but we'll talk about them when they come. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, follow my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll see you all in the next video.